What's going on? Welcome back. So I wanted to answer a question that I got as far as duty belts and kind of the gear that goes on them. I've gotten a couple questions about that recently, and you could get absolutely lost looking for different kinds of gear to put on your range belt, your duty belt, your battle belt. There is so much stuff out there. A lot of it's really good, sometimes really expensive, and a lot of it is just trash. I mean, let's just face it. There's a lot of products out there, a lot of it sold on Amazon. It's just absolute junk, and it's usually kind of like a rip-off of somebody else's product. So I bought some Esstac Kywi mag pouches probably about 6 months ago now, and I have been running those things consistently for the past 6 months. These are just a little bit of a different design because they're kind of molding the best of the Kydex world with the best of the nylon world, that tactical nylon stuff. And a lot of other companies have done this, like HSGI and G-Code. And those are really good products, but that stuff can get really pricey. I know the battle belt that I have that's full of HSGI stuff was really, really expensive compared to some other gear that I do have that I like just as much. I will leave links for all this stuff that you saw down below. If you're not on one of the Freedom channels, you can check that first link in the description, and it will take you to a page where all of the links for this stuff are posted for your consideration. Now, what we're looking for in something like this on a duty belt or a gun belt, a lot of it's gonna revolve around what weapon system you're carrying at the time and how versatile it is, because you may switch guns from time to time if you're a competitive shooter, or if you just have a lot of guns and you like to practice kind of with a gun belt or a battle belt because maybe you wear a gun belt for a living. And a lot of times people that wear gun belts for a living, like law enforcement guys, they're told what they can wear, and their department usually picks gear on fashion over function. So there may be some concerns as far as retention goes. If that's in your policies or your SOPs, an open top design like these Esstac Kywi's may be not for you or may not be allowable by your policy. But they are definitely a design that I have become a huge fan of. The budget was good, the quality of these things is very high, and they definitely fulfill the needs I was looking for on a gun belt that I had recently just set up, consisting of that blue alpha molly belt and then my Safariland ALS system holster on that QLS locking fork setup. And that just gives me the ability to go from gun to gun to gun. Now, these pouches will take multiple different styles of double stack magazines, from Glock to Smith & Wesson, Ruger, just a ton of different stuff can go in there, as long as they're within that same general caliber range. You usually can't go jamming the 45 caliber double stack mags in there and have them fit correctly. I did get them in there, but they were so difficult to pull out, it wouldn't do you any good on the range. Now, that may be a negative to some people that you can't adjust it and fit multiple different styles in there, but it really depends on what are you doing. Are you really switching back and forth between calibers that much? Now, I originally saw these on one of my buddy's belts at the gun range, and we were just out having some fun and shooting and doing some drills out there just to kind of chill out for the day. And I saw them and they looked really good. And I originally thought they were a certain brand, and he said, no, these were something new. And I kind of checked them out. And I was like, I'm gonna have to look into these things a little bit. So I went ahead and I ordered a couple of them up, and I put them on that blue Alpha Gear Molly belt. So this is the rig that I've pretty much been running non-stop for the past several months. And I've got the AR or M4 style mag pouch here with the Molly on it, and then the slick front pistol pouches. So definitely have become a fan of these, and I want to get into these things up close and kind of show you the benefits. There are a couple of negatives depending on how you look at it, and we're going to get into these things right now. So here are the Kywi mag pouches up close, and I did leave these on the belt because I don't want to have to weave the Molly attachments back on here. So let's start with the pistol carriers here. So you can see, like I said, they've got the Kydex portion molded in the bottom here, and they do have some drainage holes in them right there. The stitching across the front, it's a single stitch line, but those aren't really holding anything together. It's just the fabric is double weaved, so that's all that's holding together. But you can actually see where the tension points are in the corners, like right up in there. You can see where it's been cross-stitched and over-stitched quite well, and that's pretty much where your rigidity points are. And the same thing follows through on the back. You can see that it's double lined and stitched all through the points where it's actually going to have, you know, tension pulling across it. Same thing with the AR pouch here. You can see where they've attached the Molly. You got a lot of over stitching and cross stitching going on, and then in all the corners you can see that it's double stitched as well, and that follows suit across the back in all of the Molly attachments on the pistol and the rifle. Now, these are the actual flexible malice style clips that Esstac sells. These things are actually really cool. They're a couple bucks extra, but they fit on pretty much any belt, any MOLLE setup, and they're nice and flexible, so you can weave them through, push them through, and they stay out of the way. So depending on how you rig them, these are hanging out through the bottom. Sometimes the malice clips will hang out far enough on just a, a 2-loop MOLLE setup like this that they'll dig into your waistline or something. So how these actually kind of mold the Kydex and the nylon material is in here. So you'll see that portion is actually a Kydex insert, and I'll pull this one out to show you guys. It is actually Velcroed on. So dig your fingers down in there like this, and it is very, very stiff, and it's fairly tight, so these are definitely not going to come out on their own. But once you get all the Velcro off, you can peel the actual insert out. So you can see it's just an angular piece of Kydex that's in there. And what that does is it gives you the clamping stuff you need. You can actually see there where the magazines have gone in and out, and that's the portion that's actually clamping on them right in there where that edge is. You can see it's worn a little bit. And then the way it pushes out like this kind of gives you that big mouth design and allows you to reinsert that magazine, because you really don't want to discard magazines on the field anywhere. So like I said, definitely a different kind of design. That Velcro on the back, that hook and loop is definitely very strong. So you slide this back down in here, you get it to the appropriate depth like that, and then you just make sure that you press it all the way back and get that Velcro reattached. So some people I've seen, they leave them a little bit high like that. I press it all the way down so it's even most times, but if you want to put it like this, so as you're reinserting or inserting magazines, you're going to hit the Kydex and not the material. That is an option, but typically when I'm running these, I leave them all the way flush with the material, and that kind of is what I found works, and it doesn't give you any less, I guess, protection, but definitely looks the cleanest for sure when you have it just nice and flush set up like that. And then the pistols are exactly the same thing. They both, like I said, have those drainage holes. They both fit on there with the Velcro, the hook and loop on the backing right there. And sometimes it's easier if you work like something back behind there, like a butter knife or something to help get those off. But the pistol Kydex inserts are the same way. They have that same folded and flared design to give you retention on the magazine while keeping the mouth of this as wide open as possible so you can get these back in there. So overall, very well made product. They fit very, very many of my needs, for that sleek attachment, MOLLE if I need it. They're well constructed. Esstac does sell belt loop style retainers that you can put on here instead of the flexible malice style clips. I wanted to go with these because when I'm having a gun belt, I want everything to stay exactly where it is. I don't want stuff sliding back and forth like on other gun belts that I have, say this other Blue Alpha belt with my Bravo concealment gear. Everything can slide around. You're using some form of keepers or something to keep this on. And when you compare a straight Kydex design to a design like these Esstac Kywi's, you can see one, they've got a smaller profile, right? So there's quite a bit more size in the Bravo concealment style stuff, and this is a pretty typical design for gun belt Kydex gear. Definitely takes up more of it, and definitely, as you can tell, you can hear Kydex is quite a bit noisier than these. So you can tell a definite difference in the noise that they'll put out. But when you get into other things like the HSGI stuff, which I'll bring in right now, these are the ones that kind of give you the most versatility, because you can pretty much fit any magazine in here. And then you've got, a tension strap down here. You can tighten them up. And this kind of does the same thing, gives you the best of both worlds between having the, the Kydex or the polymer inserts right here, and then having, that nylon and MOLLE attachments on the outside. Good products, both of them, but like I said, the stuff from Esstac is just fitting what this gun belt is designed for. Very sleek, very slim. I would have gone with the triple pistol pouch if and when I buy these again. But that's the up close look, guys. We'll get back into the desk and we'll finish this up. Now, this is definitely a versatile design. There's just a lot of options you can do with these. Some magazine pouches maybe have a one up on them, but depending on what you're wearing them for and if you're allowed to wear one of those like ultra tactical looking magazine pouches, these may be the ones that you're actually able to use. They give you kind of the best of these both worlds here. Now, they are designed in several different ways. You can get them slick like my pistol mags. You can get them on the Molly stuff on the outside like the AR mag. And you can actually get them in different heights to cover more of the magazine. I think it's short, medium, and tall. And these are definitely very, very quick to use because you can get the magazines in and out very, very quickly. So the no retention aspect or no active retention like a snap over or like a little bungee loop on it, that can be a positive or negative. It really just depends on what you're doing with it. Now, if you're like an airborne guy or something like that, yeah, if you leave the bird out the door or the ramp blast or whatever you guys are doing that day, and you don't have your gear tied down right, you may leave a gypsy yard sale all over the drop zone, and you'll be giving away a ton of skull and cases of beer to try and get your buddies to give you all your gear back. Most people aren't gonna be in that world. A lot of these people are competition, weekend guys, just guys that have tactical gear, law enforcement guys, probably never gonna be jumping out of a plane in full gear. Now, when it comes to the material, this is kind of like a hit or miss. Now, is nylon less durable than Kydex? I would say for the most part, yes. Nylon is going to tear, the stitches can come undone, it can be cut. But then again, Kydex, you can have the same kind of issues with it where you can crack it, you can break it if it wasn't made appropriately. But it really depends on what you're doing with it. It's kind of one of those positives and negatives and how much you're willing to give one way or the other. Obviously, the Kydex insert in there is going to keep those mags in there very firm. And because it's not complete Kydex, it's going to be a little less noisy than say like a full Kydex magazine carrier would be. And that Molly attachment does give you more options as far as additional gear that you can put on there, whether it's like a snap link to put your gloves on, or maybe you're going to put like a Leatherman or a pocket tool on there or something in a small additional pouch. With Molly gear, really the sky is the limit. I would definitely buy these again. I would, however, I should have bought the triple magazine pouches for my belt because, the 9mm carbine type stuff or the, pro rifle carbine from like Ruger. I've got all that stuff, and I really should have thought a little bit better about having a third magazine pouch for that extended magazine, and then my 1 and 2 pouch for my pistol. Definitely something to think about in the future if you were gonna run a rig like that. But these are definitely a good product in my opinion. I've enjoyed them. I've been using them nonstop. I've had no issues with them. A lot of it's probably gonna come down to policies and whether you're actually allowed to use these for work or whether you're just a competition guy or a weekend dude. These would probably definitely fulfill your needs. I will leave links for all this stuff that you saw down below. If you're not on one of the Freedom channels, you can check that first link in the description, and it will take you to a page where all of the links for this stuff are posted for your consideration. And just so you guys know, I haven't talked about it in a while, but the way that we all keep our gun channels going is by those affiliate links. So if you appreciate any of the products, the content I'm producing, you can check those Amazon links or the links to any of the products you see here. And what that does is it helps provide us a little bit of money from that manufacturer or from that seller. Doesn't cost you anything, but it allows us to keep going with our channels and continue to improve to provide you guys information on these products. I really appreciate you spending your time here with me today, guys. I know it's valuable to you. So like, share, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know or what you thought about the product down in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next one.